Well, it's not a pleasant day at all outside. It's raining quite heavily. Rained all day yesterday, but as you can see inside, it's actually quite cosy, and we've got a fire going. So you know, it doesn't really matter what it's gonna do outside. It's nice and cosy here. The board you can see at the back of the fire there is actually a fireboard, and we're going to be fitting that later this week. Neil's got a couple of days off. We're actually going to do the painting as well. We're just going to paint the ceiling and the top half, and we're leaving the bottom half wood, and all the cupboards and everything we'll leave with the wood, so that we have still got some of the wood available. But there's still lots of jobs to do on the boat. So when you move onto a boat, you expect life to be a little bit slower. After all, you know, on the canals we're limited to 4 miles an hour, and most of the time you don't get to go anywhere near that fast because it's busy, lots of moored boats and things. So life does slow down in that way. But it also slows down in ways that I had sort of realised but hadn't really thought about much. So I want to talk about the things that are much slower when you live on a boat. So, as I said, today is a very rainy day. Yesterday was a very rainy day. So one thing I didn't do yesterday that I would normally have done is the washing, because normally I've got a brolly mate that goes on the tiller arm at the back, hang it out there, wind blows across the marina, fabulous, dries all your washing. But I thought, well, I'll wait and see what it's like today. So chucking it down today. Now, the washing is a much slower process anyway for me. I know a lot of people on boats have automatic washing machines like you would have in a house, or washer dryers, which, you know, must make life a lot more convenient, and we may at some point do that, but as there wasn't any plumbing for a washing machine or space when we moved on, that is something that we haven't done. So I have a mini twin tub, and it does a perfectly adequate job, and the spinner gets the washing quite dry, but it doesn't take longer in a cycle on a washing machine. An automatic washing machine takes ages, but it's more physical work for you. You're putting it in the washing side, you're dragging it out into the spinner, you're rinsing it, and then you're putting it back, spinning it again. So you know, it's more involved. It's not just sticking it in a washing machine and leaving it. So that takes longer. But then the drying side of it, if it's fine, it's great, as I said. If it's not, I've got one of those fold-out airers that I'll either stick in front of the fire, so you've got wet clothes in your boat. It's just one of those things. We do have a dehumidifier, which does help a little bit with the condensation. But if you look at the window behind me, first thing in the morning, it is still quite damp until the fire gets going and dries it up. Now, in winter we'll probably have the fire going all the time. Whether it'll improve then, I don't know. But if I don't have the fire on, then I'll just stick the airer in the shower and let the washing dry there. And it takes a couple of days in there, so if we then get a fine day, I'll just hang it out at the back. So that's one thing that does take a lot longer than it did in a house, but it's fine. It's, you know, it's just one of those adjustments that you make. Another thing that takes longer, obviously, is Well, I say it takes longer. It doesn't. Warming the boat up as opposed to warming a house up. When we were in a house, you just flicked a switch, the heating came on, or we put the gas fire on, and it's instant heat. Here, obviously, we have to make the fire up, which isn't instant, because you've got to go and fetch your coal and fetch your logs and things. Obviously we keep some in the boat, so you put that in, but you've got to light the fire. Now actually that's something that I really like, and I know a lot of people say, oh, it's dirty and it's a lot of messing about, but I just love getting that fire going. And when I said, you know, it doesn't actually take long to heat up, I lit the fire this morning, took the dog 10 minutes at the most round the marina. I mean, she's an old dog. She only needs a little opportunity in the morning. We take her for a longer walk later on to go out and do her business. But by the time I came back, I opened the doors to the boat and the heat just hit me. And it's really nice and warm and cosy in here now. So it doesn't take long to heat up, but it's, you know, you've got to light the fire. But as I say, that is something that I really enjoy anyway, so it's not a problem. So what else takes longer? Well, we currently, the only method we have for heating water is to run the engine. I haven't actually found that as inconvenient as you might think. And I think when we were bringing the boat home and we were travelling every day, that wasn't a problem, not something you ever even thought about because hot water was always there. But once back in the marina, you have to run the engine to get the hot water. So if you want to shower, well, we either go over to the marina shower, which is fine, or we run the engine. So you can't just think, oh, I'll just jump in the shower. You have to run the engine and then jump in the shower. If I want to wash the pots, I'll often think, well, it's only a sink full of pots. I'm not gonna run the engine for that. So I heat a kettle up, and that's enough hot water to wash the pots. But obviously it takes a little longer because you've got to wait for the kettle to boil, which the kettles on the hob do tend to take a lot longer than electric kettles. So it's a whole host of things. It's everything really that seems to take that little bit longer. And to be honest, I don't think that's a bad thing. We rush around, you know. We when I was working, I mean, I'm retired now, but when I was working, you seem to do nothing but work, eat and sleep. Because even when you get home, you've got lots of work to do. And so the slower pace of everything just, it takes the stress away. Somebody said to me when we were buying a boat, the act of just walking onto a boat will see your stress just melt away. And I thought, I'm not sure how that can be, but it's actually right. When you get on that boat and you walk through the doors and you think, I'm home, the stress just melts away. There are things to stress about, you know. There's that odd noise maybe that you think, is that water dripping somewhere? Or actually, no, the noise that we keep hearing is just the water lapping up at the side of the hull. But until you get used to that, it can be quite worrying. So there are still stresses, and there should be in life. But the pace of life in general has just slowed down so much that you just seem to be able to take time out to just enjoy every little thing. And that really is what we wanted out of life on a boat. So we've only been on the boat 8 weeks today. Weather is cooling down a little bit, but it's still, you put the fire on, you open the windows because it really does heat up. I'm expecting that to change, obviously. But even though we've only been on the boat 8 weeks, we've already been asked, isn't it cold at this time of year? No, it's blooming not. It's so warm. You're peeling layers off. I was sat in a sleeveless dress last night because it was just so warm. So, you know, we're settling into life on the boat. As I say, we've got lots of little jobs. we want to do, that we're going to do gradually. We've actually decided as well, because we're not all that mechanically minded. I mean, we're getting to know a lot more of the systems on the boat and how to do the checks and all that sort of thing, but we're actually going to book into one of these engine maintenance courses, the RYA engine maintenance course. So if any of you have been on one of those courses, I would be really interested in hearing your comments on what you thought. Was it useful? Did you learn a lot? Has it made a difference to the things that you feel able to do on your boat? So, you know, if you have done one, just leave me a bit of a comment, because as I said, I'd be really interested to hear that. But, you know, hopefully the next video, there'll be quite a few changes to how the boat looks, and I'll show you sort of, you know, from what it is now, to how it goes. I'm going to do a bit of filming on building the fire surround and all that sort of thing. So that'll be in the next video. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, give it a like. If you want to see future videos on our life on board, we are going to do some cruising next week as well. So I'm going to put that into a video. So if you'd like to follow our life as liveaboards, click the subscribe button. There's also a little bell icon that if you click, that'll alert you when there are new videos available. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.